Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Blueberry Wolfbridge, aka No Intro RPG. But wait, if I have a standardized thing that I say in the beginning, isn't that an intro? You know what I mean. I'm not one of these guys, got the computer, so I'm gonna do the whole friggin'. But then you realize, folks, if you've got the whole friggin' hour and 15 minutes of you dancing around with everything, at the thing, at the slideshow and the thing, and then here's your miniatures and the thing, and your bookshelf and the music, then every time everybody watches your videos, they have to watch that. You know what I mean? And it's like, even if your intro is fantastic, the 99th time, honestly. Anyway, here we go. Playing solo RPGs, what is it? You got to replace the whom, the what, the where, the GM. You got to figure out how to get feedback regarding the universe, regarding the world that you can respond to. And so there's all sorts of mechanisms and methodologies for doing so. These oracles, these random tables. And there have been, these solutions that have been tried through, random generation. And like the classics are, like if we look at the, mythic, GM emulator or these, various, random, table operations, you're rolling dice and you're looking at these results, you're consulting these tables to try and look, it's Magic 8 Ball time, right? You're getting a response. And these are all means to an end. These are all means to generating a response, generating feedback regarding a environmental condition that you can respond to that's not generated by you. And so getting into this world of solo RPGs, I look at these methodologies, I look at these things, and I explore. And one of the things I came across were that people had looked at and had on the market were available these dice to do it, and they're various sets available from different companies, and I'll probably do reviews of these sets that I have. Here's one from one company, and they're these are dice sets that are fit to purpose. What do you need? Here's ones that here's one obviously you can see through the bag that'll generate various types of treasure. So if you're a DM trying to generate dungeons in advance of in a crunch before a session, this is a quick way to roll up a dungeon on the fly. Or if you're a solo player and you want to generate rooms or treasures post random generated encounters, you understand the thinking that's involved here. And these are obviously fit for purpose. Here's another set that obviously would take care of things like outside hex crawls. Here are things like weather conditions outside, directions of travel, moods of outside encounters. And what would be the purpose of this versus just using a GM emulator or a lookup table? Well, it's just taking one step out of the process, right? Rolling and seeing an actual expression or emoji on the dice versus seeing that dice number and then taking that dice number to the table to consult and say the result of 1 to 3 indicates the NPC has a stick up their ass. Roll to see the cause. 1 to 2, they think it's you, but they think you might have a plausible explanation. 3 to 4, they think it's you, and they know you got no excuse. 5 to 6, they know it's you, and they're in love. I never promised you a rose garden. If I never promised you a rose garden, and I certainly didn't promise you my immaterial. I lost it in the divorce. Here's something from a company called Citadel Black. This is for generating either characters on the flyer, NPCs. There's evil alignments. This is obviously more geared directly towards D&D or maybe Pathfinder. Wizard, elf wizard, lawful good elf wizard. There you go. But we're not here to do that. What I wanted to do was talk to you about, I thought about going off the reservation, because looking at these various dice, and obviously we also have ones available I saw from a certain name brand company with very fancy accoutrement, with very fancy names, very fancy embossing, etc., very fancy packaging. America might run on Dunkin' Donuts, but it spends its money anyway. Listen, but it was also had a very nice price tag. But I thought to myself, I thought to myself, let's think outside the box on Amazon. And sure enough, I thought to myself, and I did it, story dice. I thought to myself, random generating of story dice. That literally, that search resulted in a whole bunch of really cheap stuff on Amazon, geared not towards solo RPG players, because solo RPG players are a premium niche community, but little kids on camping trips that need to be shut up are cheapo. So here's Coghlan's Fireside story dice. If you're looking for things that can be used as cheap solo RPG oracles, here's something that's available for less than $10. Will it work? I'm going to argue that it can work, though it's not fit to purpose. Let's take a look. What do I mean by fit to purpose? It's not designed to be used for solo RPGing, so you're going to have to work with it, right? Instructions. Make a game of it. Just take turns rolling some or all of the dice and take turns telling a fun story based on the symbols that come up. No rules. The symbols can mean whatever you want them to. They're just springboards for the imagination. Start with a theme. If you need some help getting started, consider the color-coded themes on the dice. Red, actions. Yellow, moods and emotions. Orange, objects. Green, activities. Blue, settings. Well, you can already see we're going to be in luck. There's only one blue, locations or settings. And that's brilliant, right? Where are we starting off from? We've got no idea. We're starting a solo adventure. Where are we? We're in the desert. Actions are the red dice. So you might not want two actions at once. Oh, excuse me. Let's just get these guys out of here. Enough dancing. So we got doubles. We don't need two emotions at the same time, but let's put things to the side for a second. So here's an action. We're in a location. We know we're in the desert. What do what do we got to do? We got to speak to someone. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? There's you encounter an NPC. What's the NPC's mood? They're elated. You know what I mean? And some of these things, we have objects. Here's some things that I noted. In regards to the actions, these are very simple to see what some of these things can be used for. Speak to someone, investigate or look for something. Appraise someone, give someone praise, stop someone from doing something, go somewhere, right? Tell someone they're doing a good job or lend assistance. You can see how that could work. Some of these are more modern if you're playing in a traditional fantasy setting or an ancient setting. Some of these, might be harder to work with. Recycle might be repeat an action, something didn't take, cut, I don't know, end something. What do you have to do there? You have to break some bond, and something. You have to do some work. You have to eat. You know what I mean? You're gonna, depending on what it is. Here's objects, but this dice in particular, I noticed something about their elements on all these. Here's fire, water. Here's a tree that could represent earth. Lightning could be pushed into effect to do air. You could do something with that. Then we also have rope and a hat. I don't know what you're going to do with that, but the four elements indicated to me that if you, in the context of solo RPGing, this could be outside elements. If you're traveling outside, what weather conditions you encounter, whether they're, hot, cold, whatever, whether you're, prevented from moving forward because of those weather conditions, or whether you find adequate shelter. Who knows? Here are animals are all on this dice. The animal dice are interesting because what I noticed on them is that if you look at them, everything is a normal, okay animal, but then, oh my God, here's a ghost. And if we look at the other dice that has animals on it, cow, everything's normal, everything's fine, little birdie, but then there's a bear, and everything else is non-threatening but the bear. This one, the snake is a little threatening, but essentially what you have is you have 1 out of 5 is normal town, and then you've got one potential baddie. You could see how they were probably thinking that would work as a storytelling thing for kids, but you could also see how that could be a simple element, a simple mechanical element that would make this work for solo RPG. And if you're rolling for outside encounters, you have a natural mechanic. Grab one of these dice. You have a 1 out of 6 chance that you're going to get a dangerous encounter, 1 out of 5 chance that you're going to get a domestic encounter that you can either pass on or use as an opportunity to what? Try and get some food, right? Green are actions. This thing could be, what do you have to do? Travel, investigate, party. You have to go there to celebrate, dance. This, depending on context, you could interpret this as investigate. You know what I mean? Who knows? Like I said, they're not fit to purpose. Travel by boat, gather resources, through fishing, play ball, another travel. Do you know what I mean? Travel, you know what I mean? How are you going to get there? Walk. How are you going to get there by mode of transportation? Who knows? You know what I mean? Like I said, it's $9 versus the upwards amounts that other people are trying to charge for other products that, let's face it, are going to do exactly the same thing. They're not going to look as cool, but you're playing by yourself. Or you might be playing with younger children that you're trying to get into the realm of solo RPGing or into the realm of RPGing as well. Look, let's face it, if we're talking about rolling dice to play, to tell a story together on a camping trip, on a train ride, on a plane ride, to the consternation and upset of all the other people trying to travel with you, that might be the beginning of the introduction of the activity and the hobby of role-playing to a new generation of gamers in your tribe, or in your community. Here's a die that just has food items. Work with this however you want to. If I looked at this, you have all these other food items could be kind of nutritious, but then you have the s'mores and the popcorn that is pure junk, I guess you could say, to the degree that a hamburger or hot dog would be considered nutritious. So I don't know, you could roll for if you get a good meal or a trash meal. Here we have all things that could be found outside. And then one of them is a picnic table. So you could have assign these to various, resource qualities, and then have one of them be the opportunity for rest. At every stop of your hex scroll, there you could roll this dice and have a 1 out of 5 chance that it is just whatever. Either you can have an opportunity to gather resource, or there's no resources to be gathered, or you have an opportunity to stop. If you look at this place die, you have 2 of these places. You have the tent And you also have this place where you might say you roll in these and you say, well, you find either an abandoned campsite that you can rest yourself and heal, or you might find a settlement where then you could roll for village or town encounters. So you see where I'm going with that, and you see what I'm establishing for you, or trying to establish for you, is that for if you are looking at any hobby, any activity, remember to take time to think outside of the box. Remember that it's not just the things that you see advertised specifically at you that will work for you. That you can think about the things that are advertised for you and they're working for you, and think about how they're working for you, how they're supposed to work for you, and realize that probably there are other things in the environment, there's probably other things in the marketplace that will work just as well, oftentimes at a much cheaper expense. I was having some fun before. I know that I don't want this video to go too long, but let's just play a little game. You know what I mean? Like if we were to try and start an adventure like all by ourselves, where are we starting off? We're starting off, in the mountains, and who are we? Who are our people? We are of the Chicken Clan. You know what I mean? And what's our attitude? What's our attitude? We are elated. We are a happy person. We couldn't be more satisfied. So what could possibly be the problem? If this is so great, why would anything ever change? What would be the situation that could possibly make us want to leave? The evil cat. The evil cat could be the only thing that could possibly be the justification for us wanting to leave our peaceful life in the mountains amongst our chicken kind. What must we do in regards to this cat? We got to write. Now, look. Fate of the die. Fate of the roll. We got to be creative. That's what we got to do. We got to be creative. We got to think of a solution. We got to do something. We got to go to the other action die. Right? You got to think outside the box. Yes, the other action die says you were correct. You have to roll again. Okay. Congratulations. You're discerning the wisdom of the dice. Yes, I understand. You got to go to the go to the cat and fight him. Okay. You see, you get there, and sometimes you got to go to the box. Sometimes you got to think outside the box, and sometimes you got to think firmly inside of the box. Keep on rolling until you get to the standard D&D machismo male trope. You're happy, you're a chicken, you rolled, hey, write the cat a letter. And then you thought, F that, what is this? Hold on, excuse me, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have a solo adventure of writing, dearest cat. I join you today on this solo journey, journal writing adventure. And I've rolled the die to determine that I'm writing to you today about popcorn. Excuse me. No. I don't know how to play those games, but what I do know how to play is Micro Chapbook RPG, which excels at fighting cats, does not excel at being consistent with your audience regarding your marketing strategies or what products are coming next or the finality of rule sets. Excuse me, I love you, but no, you're not consistent. Yeah. And it's not a roll and write journaling game. So we're not going to be able to kill the cat. But I think there are options for chicken people, I think. If not, I'll have to roll my own. Once again, I must sugar my own churro. Once again, I must roll my own chicken. Yeah. Honey, listen, I'm gonna tell you something. This is this is like, it's like letters to the editor, like old man yells at cloud. I get it. So here's the deal, kind of. Well, here's the ongoing deal with this guy's not good. This person's not gonna stop. Can I get a pronoun? I'd like to buy a pronoun for $50 or 1,000. I'll listen. So the new relatively micro chapbook RPG basic edition rulebook, and then there's advanced character guide, right? And then I also have, I don't have it here with me, I also have the dungeon guide, and there's another one I think coming for world building, I think. So the third triplet hasn't even touched the ground. But I love this. Here's the thing with Noah. This is the greatest. I love this individual. I do. This is fantastic. Where is this? This is great. Okay. These basic rules are the definitive rules for the system and are all you need to play any adventure for the system. They are considered the new 1.75 edition rules, but remain completely compatible with all the other game content in the system. This is true. Everything is compatible. Everything is compatible. Everything up and down the block is compatible. Okay, check this out. Hold on. Okay, yada. Okay. Okay, blah. Okay, the previous core books, including the deluxe core rulebook, the updated core rulebook, and the evil edition, are still completely usable and compatible with all these rules. Everything's, yes, I agree. The small changes to the games between different rulebooks are for you to decide how to use. Fair enough. Okay, yada. However, this is the last paragraph. However, these older core books will no longer be considered definitive. All future modules, expansions, and adventures will refer back to this basic edition or to the upcoming premium advanced core rulebook, release date spring 2021, presumably this, and or the advanced dungeon guide, and or the world building thing, right? Yada. Well, we'll refer back to, it's either going to be this basic edition or those other ones. Those are going to be the definitive ones, right? Those other rule books, like all those other rule books, are going to still be usable. Everything's usable. I agree with that. But these are going to be the definitive. So says Noah Patterson, right? I shit you not. I shit you not, brothers and sisters and everyone who falls in between. This, I love you. Noah Patterson, I say this in love. You are a cold-blooded motherfucker. I swear to God, I love you, and I have given you enough money on DriveThruRPG and on Amazon to say this with impunity. You are beautiful, but you are a son of a whatever, or daughter of the goddess, but my consternation upon you, because you say that, and then what? Then everything else is no, because gay realms and micro rainbows and this and the thing with the dragons of Dragork and the midnight thing, that's not consistent with that statement about the definitive. And the thing with the neon verse is not consistent with that thing about the definitive. And yes, I know that there's minor rules in addition, but that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about with the extra thing with the yada, with the, I don't have the Dragons of Dragork thing. I wasn't going to say, I purposely didn't pack the Dragons of Dragork Midnight Series thing in my bag so that I would not talk about the thing with the definitive thing, because I was going to say, no, you're not going to do it, but I can't, because I'm going to cover every fucking thing that you've done, because I think, number one, it's brilliant and deserves to be covered, and it needs to be covered, because if it's not covered in depth, no one will fucking understand it, because the media output and the declarations and the statements by you are either kind of hard to understand and are potentially inconsistent or misleading, because not because you're a bad person, because I think you are like Mao Zedong. Not in the sense, no, wait, hold on. Listen to me, people. I think you come up with brilliant, huge, massive plans. Like, you like come up with a plan that's like a 5-year plan. That's what I meant. Like, you come up with these like big idea plans. And so you publish a rule book or something, and you say this, and you make like a grand prediction for what's going to happen in the next like whatever. And you say this new thing, instead of saying this is the fantasy rule set for like 2022, and this is like this book and blah, you say this is the definitive blah, and this is going to be the guidepost for this, and this is going to be the centerpiece for this thing, and this is this moving forward. And then when you say that, then people think that that's going to be the case, and then when that's not the case, people are like, what? And then that creates confusion. And I'm one of these people. If you tell me something is definitive, if you don't tell me something is definitive, look, how many things? You're not going to piss me off if you just keep on doing what you do. If you just keep on doing what you do, I'm going to keep on buying it. And if you don't say things like this is the definitive thing of nothing, I'm never going to say, oh. But if you tell me like this is the definitive thing of something, then I'm going to go, oh, it's the definitive thing. Then I'm going to start, in my head, I'm going to start thinking around that being the definitive thing of that. And then if you switch it up, I'm going to be like, you. Because the way my brain works, and you should relate to this, is I can break a rule if I know what the rule is and I know how I'm breaking it. Right? But don't be inconsistent. Because it's also funny, kiddo. It's great. Because you're like, this, it also reminds me of me and so many people I know. You're like, this is a definitive thing. From now on, this is it. This is 1.75. And like within a month, the whole fucking gay realms thing happened, which I'm behind you 110%. You do you, boo. But it doesn't change the fact that right after you were like, boom, this is the new basic edition. After basic edition, this is going to come out, this is going to come out, this is it, this is 1.75, everything's backwards compatible, yeah. And right after you did that, you were like, gay realms, and that simplified things in a brilliant way, but it basically brought everything back. So you basically took everything from 1.5 to 1.75, and then with gay realms, and then with Midnight Series, and then the thing, whatever, also with the other stuff, you brought it back down to 1.5 again. I love it. You're the best. You're the greatest. Micro Chapbook RPG for the win. I'm going to keep on covering it. You're the best. I love it. I love y'all. Keep on going. Keep on playing. Bonus material. Bonus round. Everything's... I'm going to be like the Andy Rooney of the Micro RPG, like, 5 people like this game community. I know like more than 5 people like it, but you know what I'm saying. I've watched people need to start making more YouTube Chapbook RPG content, so I'll have some more stuff to watch. Because I love this system and support it, and want it to strive and thrive and succeed. It is a brilliant system. It is so simple. It is so great. And it is fantastic, and you can watch the drama of the author through the pages, which is life, which I love. I love life. Chicken people versus cats. For the win. Till next time. I love you. Keep living. Catch you on the next one.